I put $90,000 into a crypto trading bot 2 years ago in the middle of the bear market. I did this as a part of a series I was doing where I was testing a bunch of different crypto trading bots and strategies to see if they actually worked. Lots of these claimed to be these miracle money-making machines, but completely failed when I actually put them to the test. And this bot strategy was originally a strategy that my father-in-law found. He spent well over $100,000 on various newsletters, courses, etc., always trying to find that miracle money-making machine. And he had said that this one was actually doing pretty well. He was actually getting decent results with this one. At the time, way back then, we had just gone through the collapse of Terra Luna, the collapse of UST, and the bot had somehow ended up making money through that entire process. Which, if you don't know what that is, it was a huge deal in crypto. It caused the entire crypto market to just utterly collapse. So the fact that this bot had still made money through that collapse was really impressive to me. So back then, I'd asked him to come over and just kind of show me how this thing worked. And really quick, you're gonna wanna stick around until the end of this video because I'm gonna be sharing not only the results from this trading experiment, but also the results from 2 other AI crypto trading strategies that I've been testing for over a year. My father-in-law showed me how the bot worked and the overall basic strategy. And the way that he was using it ended up not being a good fit for what I was wanting to do. I was looking for something low risk. I was a little bit traumatized from the Luna UST collapse, but I felt like there might be something still there with this strategy if maybe I tweaked it a little bit. So I set about studying this thing. I looked over all the documentation. I studied how the strategy actually worked or why it made money. And after tweaking it quite a bit, I came up with a new strategy with different token pairs that I felt was a lot lower risk. And originally, before I started this experiment, I stuck in a really small amount and just tested it for a couple weeks to make sure it wasn't absolutely horrible. And the results came out amazing. The more and more I learned about how this thing worked, the more excited I got. So I decided to really give this thing a go. And I stuck $90,545 into this strategy, which is obviously a life-changing amount of money to me, and I wouldn't recommend anyone else do something like that. For me, at the time when I did this, I felt like the crypto markets were really rough. This, in my mind, was a much lower risk strategy for me to put my money to work for me. And understanding it and understanding the risks, I felt really comfortable doing this. In month 1 of testing this strategy, I made a profit of $7,013, or around 7.72%, meaning I stuck in $90,000 initially into this bot, and now I had $97,000 if I went and sold everything. The next few months, the bot was a bit rocky and actually ended up going backwards a bit, to the point where over the first 3 months of using the bot, the total that I had made was $3,649. I also made a big mistake where I assumed that the profits the bot was making were just kind of getting compounded back into the bot, not realizing that they were actually getting spit off to the side. And at some point, I don't remember what I was doing, I ended up going into my account. I took $4,000 out off the side because I saw it wasn't being used, and I sent it off to go do something with it. I don't remember what I did with it, but it kind of messed up the experiment a little bit to where my new initial total that I put into the bot was now $86,500 versus $90,000 because I'd taken that $4,000 out. Fast forward to month 6 and things had gotten quite a bit better. I turned a total profit of $18,917, or an average of $3,152 a month, or 3.5% a month. So having a little bit of extra income was amazing. Even though this was kind of locked up too because I was just compounding it for the experiment, it still made me feel a lot better. And after 1 year of running this bot, my total had grown to $124,416, meaning over 12 months, I had made a profit of $37,871, or on average, $3,155 a month. Broken down into percentage points, my bot was essentially averaging 3.6% a month, which is pretty insane for an entire year of testing. Which, if you don't know how these things work, imagine you're testing a bot like this and you test it for 1 month and you get a 10% gain. And so you think to yourself, wow, this thing's gonna average 10% a month. Well, in reality, it doesn't really work like that. Like, you could have one really good month, but over the next successive months, it should average out to some sort of realistic amount it makes per month. And over a year of testing, you definitely have enough testing history to get an overall average of what this bot is or strategy is able to do. So for me, it was a really, really big deal that after an entire year of testing this thing, it was averaging 3.6% a month. The average person investing in the stock market is making around 8% annually. and I was making 3.6% a month. But obviously I didn't stop the experiment there. I kept going and I kept testing it. And by month 17, or 1 year and 5 months of testing this thing, my total was $156,992, making my total profit $70,492, or an average of $4,146 a month. And in percentage terms, that's around 4.8% a month. And remember, the stock market averages around 8% a year. So 4.8% is crazy to get on a monthly basis. Now, it was at this point in the overall crypto market that there were certain blue chip alts that I had a lot of confidence in, and I thought we're going to go a lot higher from here. And even though this strategy was doing really, really well, and it was, a lower risk strategy, I was ready to take on more risk in the open market because I'd felt like the conditions in the crypto market had changed quite a bit. So I made the choice at 1 year, 5 months to remove the bulk of my funds from this bot and actually put it into different altcoins. One of the biggest being that I put a ton of it into IMX token. Obviously, this was a lot more risky than just keeping it in the bot, but it was a bet that I felt like would ultimately pay off, which fast forward, I did end up more than doubling my money with that bet. So it did end up paying off really well. But obviously that dramatically reduced the amount in the bot that I was testing with. And I left just $20,956 in the bot to continue the experiment. And for the overall experiment, that doesn't really change anything. But it does mean I have to put more emphasis on the monthly average that the bot makes versus the amount that the bot makes going forward. Obviously, with a lot less money in the bot, it's going to make less money per month. But on a percentage basis, month over month, that'll stay exactly the same. That means it should be that if the bot was making 4.8% a month on average before I took that money out, it should continue to make around 4.8% a month on average, depending on the markets and how effective the bot continues to be. Obviously, it could be the case that with more testing time over a longer period of time, I could find that the bot's actually less effective. So the longer I test it, the more that number slowly comes down to something more reasonable. Or maybe on the more I want to happen side, could be that I could, over time, I find the bot's actually more effective and it actually gets more efficient as time goes on. And really quickly, if you're wondering how this bot works, the way that this bot makes money is off of market volatility. So when the market's moving up and down a lot, the bot is making money. Obviously, crypto is like really, really volatile. You could have, crypto crash from a really high price down to a really low price, then go back up to a really high price. That's really lucrative for a strategy or a bot like this. And I often have people asking me if this bot is based off of AI or it uses some sort of machine learning or something really complicated like that. And this bot isn't based off of anything like that. It's actually just a really simple grid bot strategy with really specific settings and really specific token pairs. But I do have two other experiments that I've been running for over a year that actually do claim to use AI, machine learning, and data science to consistently beat the market. And the results from those two experiments have actually been pretty insane, and I'll be sharing those results at the end of this video. But back to the original experiment, by month 19, my total had grown to $25,961, and the average amount I was making per month had actually increased to around 5.47% a month. At this point, I was making per month almost as much as the average stock investor was making per year. And all this leads to today. 2 years, 24 months after starting this experiment. And I'm going to share the results to that in just a second, but really quick. The Obsidian Council is my private research community where I share monthly research, my entire portfolio updated monthly with the exact allocation I bought and a ton more. We've had projects like Pendle, which is up over 1,500%. Projects like Solana, which is up over 779%. Projects like Akash, which is up over 1,700%. And recently I got really lucky with Goon and it went up over 179,000%. That definitely is not typically normal, and that's definitely an outlier example. We also have the Airdrop guide, where some members made over $26,000 last year from airdrops alone, covering their entire membership for literally decades. I personally made well over 100K between this year and last, and I share everything I'm personally doing with airdrops with the community via the monthly Airdrop guide. The Obsidian Council is currently closed, but if you want to join the waitlist, there's a link in the description of this video. Okay, and so that brings us to today, 24 months or 2 years after starting this experiment. And my total today is $30,369, meaning after 2 full years of running this bot, after 24 months of running this experiment, this bot has on average made 5.4% a month, which adds up to a staggering 64% a year. And again, I want to emphasize, I've spent 2 full years testing this in real time. This isn't, a back testing result. This isn't like a hypothetical result. I've spent the last 2 years running this experiment, and it comes out to, on average, over a 2-year period, 64% annually. That is pretty insane, and and pretty impressive in my opinion. Which, by the way, I have an entire course on how to get set up and run this strategy that's included with the Obsidian Council membership. And I have quite a few members in the Obsidian Council that have been actively using this strategy and getting some really good results. And I know some people just want me to give out the settings for free and just, I don't know. I understand that. I guess I'd want the settings for free too if it was if it was me, but I'm not doing that. So if you want to get the settings, you'll have to sign up for the Obsidian Council. I promise I am not trying to sell people this bot. The vast majority of my wealth isn't even in this bot. The vast majority of my wealth is in the liquid crypto markets, not using this strategy. I use this strategy as a tool on the side that I consider less risky than the liquid markets, but I think the vast majority of the gains that are to come are going to be in the normal crypto markets. But for some people who just want to kind of set it and forget it and not be as stressed out, maybe it's a good fit. Okay, so let's take a quick look at the other two experiments that I've been running as well. The first one's called Stoic Meta. I used to do a series a long time ago testing the original Stoic bot. I did this at like the start of my 1 to 1 million journey where I stuck some money into this Stoic bot and was testing to see how effective it was. It did pretty decent during the bull run, and then it did absolutely horrible during the bear market. And overall, I ended up abandoning it because I didn't think it was really worth my time and energy and money and everything. And Stoic Meta is like a successor to that original strategy, and it's a huge leap forward, according to the team, in terms of like everything. The way it works is Syndicator, the company behind Stoic, takes this high quality data from all these analysts all over the world and feeds this data into a specific AI model. And the AI uses its own predictions based off of historical data mixed with the predictions of these top analysts to try to predict what the market's going to do next. And based off its final prediction on what it thinks it's going to do next and the likelihood of what it thinks it's going to do next, it can deploy one of 200 different sub-strategies to most effectively manage the funds that it's controlling. And they claim that this product is able to produce strong returns regardless of market conditions. In fact, they claim that using backtesting, no asset in the top 200 crypto projects would have outperformed the Meta strategy, and that it's much lower risk than traditional crypto investing. In fact, they say that if Meta had been deployed during this last bear market, when Bitcoin was down 76%, the Meta strategy should have been down just 9%. Obviously, this is a super interesting claim and idea, and I really wanted to test this thing out and see if it actually worked. Important disclosure though is that I'm a US citizen and I actually can't access Binance.com, which is the exchange you have to have if you want to run this strategy. I reached out to the team to see if there was like a solution, maybe they're adding a new exchange soon or anything I could do to access this strategy as a US citizen. And what they did is they offered to fund an account on my behalf with $30,000. So it goes into Binance.com and the Stoic Meta strategy runs on it. And they said that I could keep any profits that Stoic Meta ended up making. It's a pretty awesome offer. I said yes because I really wanted to test this bot, and I didn't have to sign anything. There was nothing I had to agree to. I could say whatever I want and all that. Since starting this experiment with Stoic Meta, it's been 1 year and 6 months of testing, which is a pretty decent amount of time to test this thing. And here's what happened over that 1 year and 6 months. During the first 6 months of testing this strategy, it was pretty much up only. Keep in mind that the crypto market was doing really, really well during this period of time. So I mean, it makes sense. The original $30,000 that was put into this account ended up turning into $52,770. And it was making on average around 12.5% a month, which is kind of depressing for me because it puts my own bot strategy to shame. And fast forward to the 1 year mark, so 6 months after that, so a total of 12 months, if you don't know how many months are in a year. The $30,000 had grown to $83,626, which is a staggering 14.9% a month on average over a 12-month period of testing this thing. And this brings us to today, the 1 year and 6 month mark of testing this. I've been testing this bot for 1.5 years. And my total today is $118,881, making my total profit on that initial $30,000 put into the bot $88,881, or 16.46% a month. This bot is making double per month what the average person makes in the stock market in an entire year. Now, obviously, that's crazy. This is like a crazy, insane, pretty amazing result. But let's compare this to had I simply bought and held Bitcoin during that exact same time period. This bot mostly works by buying and holding and selling Bitcoin. So that's why I'm comparing it specifically to Bitcoin. Had I simply bought and held Bitcoin during that exact same time period, the total I would have today would be $115,662. Again, that's compared to the total that I actually made, which was $118,881. Meaning I was able to make around $3,000 more by doing this strategy than simply holding Bitcoin. And it's kind of hard for me to judge really the level of awesome this strategy strategy is without really knowing the risk that I'm taking on or not taking on. For example, let's fast forward 2026. It's the bear market. Crypto's crashed. Bitcoin's down like 70% from its all-time high. If this strategy really is only down like 9% compared to that 70%, then I think it'll be safe to say that this strategy is amazing and significantly better than just about anything else out there. The final strategy that I ended up testing is called Stoic Meta Long. It's kind of confusing because the first one's called Stoic Meta. This one's called Stoic Meta Long. And this strategy is supposed to make the most money if the market's going up. So Stoic Meta makes the most money regardless of, if market's going up or down or whatever. Stoic Meta Long makes the most money if the market's like just continually going up. And it's the same thing where it's like you have to have Binance.com. I didn't have Binance.com. Reached out to the team. They're like, hey, we're going to put $10,000 in an account. Whatever it makes above 10,000, you can keep. The first 3 months of running Stoic Meta Long, it was basically down only. I went from $10,000 in the account to around $8,000. This strategy, when kind of comparing it to the other strategy, seems to be a lot more alt heavy. So again, the first strategy is very Bitcoin focused, Stoic Meta. Stoic Meta Long is very like altcoin focused. And I'm just gonna skip kind of all the month-to-month stuff and fast forward all the way to the 1 year mark. Today, 1 year after starting this experiment, the original $10,000 that got put into the account is now worth $16,236, meaning it's averaging around 5.2% a month. Obviously, this is still an amazing outcome, but compared to the original Stoic Meta strategy, it's not quite as good. Which makes sense because this strategy is a lot more alts heavy, again, and the alts have underperformed relative to Bitcoin so far this market cycle. It's going to be interesting to see how these strategies continue into the future. I'm going to keep testing them. And I think the best of the testing is ahead because we need to see how each of these 3 strategies perform during a major market crash in the crypto market. If you want to sign up for Stoic Meta or Stoic Long, you're based out of not the US and you want to access, there's a link in the description of my video. And again, if you're interested in the Ghost Tiger strategy or my bot strategy, you can get that for free as a part of joining the Obsidian Council. So you get access to that by being an Obsidian Council member. Currently, the Obsidian Council is closed, but if you want to join, you can join the waitlist and get access if you are able to get in at some point in the future when I open it back up. If this video was helpful or interesting to you in some way, make sure to hit that like button. If you have any other strategies you think I should try out, let me know in the comment section below. If you have any questions or anything like that, let me know in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the little bell next to it to be notified each time I release a video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.